Let's bring in our senior national correspondent, Michael Shure, and Jimmy Sengenberger, contributor to the Washington Examiner and radio talk show host. Good to have you both with us. All right, Michael, let's start with you because you got the sense that even some of the leading Democrats were getting increasingly frustrated with Pelosi, some being quite vocal about it. Do you get the sense that Pelosi actually accomplished anything with the stunt to delay passing on the articles of impeachment?
I do, Michelle, yes. I mean, objectively speaking, the speaker didn't seem to lose anything, right? So if in fact this happened a few weeks later, yes, it could have been that they could have started this earlier. And did she get much? We don't know yet. But what she did do was, sort of increase her own leverage, saying we are the House and, we can't be pushed around. But also, she's gotten some public awareness of the fact that, yes, witnesses can be called. Yes, called. There is a distinction between the way that the Republican leadership in the U.S. Senate is handling this trial versus the way they handled those of Bill Clinton and certainly of Andrew Johnson. Of course, that was a different time, so I don't know if that really holds up. But in terms of the fact that it would just take a few senators now, not a supermajority of senators, to actually call witnesses, I think it does bring that into the public forum. And I do think as well what the Speaker was able to do was slow the roll here, and I think that might be important.
All right, Jimmy, to Michael's point, she has at least put a spotlight on the process, something that she was trying to call attention to. But, Jimmy, you did even have the likes of Dianne Feinstein calling out Pelosi for the delay, saying that the longer it goes on, the less urgent it becomes. And I'm quoting Feinstein here, saying that if it's so serious and urgent, then send them over, and if it isn't, then don't. Do you think that this has hurt the Democrats' overall case in terms of the court of public approval with this delay?
Oh, absolutely, I do. I mean, I think the more that the impeachment proceedings were going on in the House of Representatives, the worse their case became. I mean, at this point, the latest Real Clear Politics average of polls shows support for impeachment at 47.2% and opposition at 47.4%. In other words, you don't, by any stretch of the imagination, have a bipartisan consensus, the kind that Nancy Pelosi said was necessary in order to move forward with impeachment before she decided to do this particular proceeding. Not only that, I think that Mitch McConnell is the one who asserted the authority of the Senate in this matter, saying, look, it is our responsibility to handle the trial component, not Nancy Pelosi. And as Byron York wrote for the Washington Examiner, it seems to me that she caved, particularly with no alternative choice for Pelosi, given that McConnell said, look, we're going to use the very same rules that were used in 1999 and approved 100-0 in the Senate. I don't know how many votes that are unanimous in the Senate there are, but that seems like a pretty darn important one to have gotten. And that McConnell's going to use the very same rules says something about the fairness of the proceedings in the Senate.
All right, Michael, what impact is the impeachment trial going to have on the Democratic candidates now that it's happening now?
Too soon to tell. If it starts next week, if it runs through a week, let's say 2 weeks from today, probably very little. It will take some of the candidates, the senators, off the road. It may make them have to hustle back for a debate. But in terms of whether it will change the way America selects its president, not very much. What happens in the Senate perhaps will impact voters. But I don't think caucus goers are going to lose any sleep because they weren't able to see Amy Klobuchar or Elizabeth Warren for one evening or 2 evenings in Iowa. Michelle.
Jimmy, your thoughts on this very quickly? Does this sap the energy away from the Democrat?
Yeah, well, I think if you look at the whole nature of the impeachment proceeding at this point in time, the backdrop is significant. Just within the last month or so, you've had President Trump give the order to take out notorious terrorist Qasem Soleimani. He got through that democratically controlled House of Representatives, the USMCA trade agreement, and the economy is really robust. So I don't think this impeachment thing plays well for the Democrats.
All right, we're out of time. Thank you so much, Michael Shure, Jimmy Sengenberger.